Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. And
Good evening.
yeah, I think we can see the screen, share the screen. Is it okay?
Yep.
All good then. All right, so let's start. We go to our module 4 lab session. Okay, so module 4 lab task, mainly we will be discussing about classes and methods and objects. Okay, we'll be discussing the solutions here because the questions are there. We want to see that how the objects are working and what were the requirements and how do we want to program them. And mainly we want to see what is the significance of object-oriented programming in our uh, in our programs or when we write our codes. Okay, so the first task is about a car itself. The class is car, and we have got one method programmed, and then there are few variables or data items we have attached or we have provided to it. So the car class, the class name is car here. Okay, and then you see that we have got make, model, kilometer traveled, and last service kilometer. So when the car, excuse me, was last serviced. This is the basic definition of the variables. And we have got a method which we define, and it is like any usual function. We have defined a method in the class. And remember that when we write a function inside a class body, we call it method, right? So we have got one method available for our class definition, that is travel. And we pass two parameters. The self, when we say self, it will be taking all these variables bundled in it. Okay. And then we send another information that how many kilometers the car has traveled so far. Because this information is would be current every time we call this method. So it cannot be part of that. Though the total kilometers traveled, they're going to be stored in here or updated in this variable. All right. So any questions so far? Any question that something is not clear or all good?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Is the init um, uh, is init used in the first method always, and then following methods use a different, like your
Yeah.
own term?
Yeah, good question. So init is a function that will be running every time a new object of this class or any class is created. So that is called constructor method, all right, or constructor function, or in short, we call it constructor. So every time there is a, 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 a new object created, we'll see that this is executed by itself. So what it is doing, or whatever variable values or parametric values we are going to pass as argument to this class when we are creating it, so they will be stored. So make is coming from, so we see car. When we create this Toyota goes to make and Prius goes to model, and and this function is called, and without any name, with the name of the the class itself associated. It'll be executing automatically. Okay, and it'll take these initial parameters, which we initial argument values or parametric values, uh, and then it'll just and within that constructor we have mentioned that for a new car, when a new object is created, kilometer traveled is set to 0 automatically, and the last service kilometer is also set to 0 by default in the very beginning, right? So when this statement is executed, now what we are doing here is we are creating a car object. So this is an object. This is our class definition, which is capital car. We can write it car 1 here, car 2, or as many cars we like. They will all have the same structure but different values. All right. So for instance, so we say that we have now car master CX9 690, and this time we say it is car 1. Okay, and let's make it print. Now we write it print self dot make plus self dot model plus as created. Okay. So let's run this and let's see if there are not any errors. Oh, not sorry. I should have in the very first place. I should have copied. I just do not want to change. Yeah, this is not going to be saved anyways. So let's run this. Though it is going to make some, oh, there should not be any errors. An object, print, an object, perhaps I forgot comma, an object plus. So you see an object for car Toyota Prius has been created, an object. So for different objects, when we create them, now this function runs separately and holds the different values. All right, we haven't made a call to this function. So the only purpose for this statement, print statement, was to show you that it runs automatically. We are not calling this function at any stage. So someone is asking, can you guys open LMS on your browser? So I think so. At least I can open. So some other there was a maintenance this morning. So what you want to do is just log out and log in again. Maybe there is that is sticking to the previous session. So if you want, you can just re-log in again using your credentials. Okay, so now
So I guess I'm asking a question. Now, so what you're saying that car and car one are object which is now created in the memory of the class, correct?
yes,
So if you have thousands of car, class can hold all the thousands of car, correct?
all the cars they will be in the memory. Yes,
In the memory on that class,
on
inside in the class, right?
inside, not inside the class.
No, no,
They
inside the computer memory,
inside the
right?
RAM, inside the
Yeah,
RAM.
inside the
Yes,
RAM.
yeah,
This is just the there is only a reference to that one. Each one have its own object box in the
yeah.
computer memory, and then
So
there is some, yeah.
car, you're right. So car and car one, they are references to those objects.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, good. Clear.
yeah. Now, next is
Hello.
that yes,
Sorry to interrupt while you
yeah, sure.
presenting. I just got an error when I was running the code. It says car1. It's kind of highlighting the car1 line, and it says car object is not callable. I'm not sure where I went wrong.
I can copy this in the chat section, the
Yeah.
whole code. So maybe that way you can, you
Okay.
guys, all right?
Okay. Thank you so much. I'll just copy paste that. Appreciate it.
No worries. Okay, next what we are going to do is we say for the car one, we are just printing the car dot kilometers traveled. So it'll be just fetching the car 1 kilometers, not car, car kilometers, not car one. Okay. And then we are calling the method, passing a value for the variable here, kilometers. So we say that now the car has traveled 1200 kilometers. And we are calling the same function once more, and we say that another 500 kilometers the car has traveled. So when we print next time, it gives us the cumulative kilometers traveled. All right. So this variable is because you see here it is just adding to the kilometers traveled. Every time we call with a value, it just adds to the previous value. So every time it's like the odometer of your vehicle. So every time you travel or your car drives, then kilometers are added to the previous value. All right. So any questions for this part? And is the code running now?
So
It's perfect.
Good.
so the travel one is a function, correct? And you can build all the function depending related to the class, to the car, correct?
Yeah.
Whenever,
Now,
yeah.
yeah. Now, good question. Now we say that after printing this, we say that now this because we have just defined this function once. Now, no matter how many cars we have in our system, so we say that now our car one, which is Mazda CX-90, we say it is going to, it has traveled 2,500 kilometers, right? And then we want to print that. So what it is going to do is going to print our kilometers traveled for car one, 2,500, all right? Or rather, because we are just very simply writing these statements, let's make it more robust. So what do we want to do is we say that car one dot car one dot car dot car dot name and plus has traveled has traveled or kilometers. So let's see, or we want to say plus dot em make. It was not name, it was a mistake here. Dot make invoice, perhaps you forgot a
Ethan,
comma.
zie je parket or?
It should be here. And can only connect a string, so has traveled here. So it is a string. Or we should have used a comma with that. And it should be fine now. Let's see. So Toyota Prius traveled 1700. There should be here. Okay, so Toyota Prius has traveled 1700 kilometers. So now we can use the same statement here. Okay, and instead of, we just want to change the variable name, and all the information has just changed. You see? So this is the significance of classes. You just define template once, and then you can create as many objects you like. And if you want to add more functionality, you just want to go and define the functionality within the class definition, and all the objects which are already there in your program, they would have the functionality available. As we proceed with the code, we'll see that we keep adding more functions or more methods, and they will be available to all the objects. So any questions, anything that is not clear at this stage?
Now, if you want to print all the type of parts inside classes, you have to develop another engine to print it out. That's correct?
Yes. We'll see when we reach to the bottom of this lab. It won't be this thing. Okay, we'll have to have another different data structure which holds all the objects, right?
Okay.
Yeah. This is just the template. This is a mold where you can create one car object. It is not storing anything. This just helps you create or mold an object. It just tells you that the car would have a name, a model, make, model, and kilometers traveled and service and all that. It just does not store. It just defines like it is just these days it is a bit different. Think of this as an empty form when you want to fill for maybe university subject enrollment. You want to write all the information. Okay, so think of that the paper-based form. There are blanks. You want to fill in those blanks. Once you fill in, and all the forms, they are very standard, so they follow the same standard. But every student would come and they would fill in their information. And once that is completed, it goes somewhere in a drawer, the paper-based form. So that is a different place where your forms are stored, right? And that can be we can bundle them together based on the course students are enrolled in, or the department, or whatever the structure of university is. That depends on that, or any other school or any institute or any office, they would do the same. But this is just like a blank form. You just need to fill in that form, and then if all the information is all correct, it means that an object is created. All right. So, is there any? Now let's do that. I'm again pasting that updated one. Okay, now moving forward. In this task, we have the same definition of the car, but we are going to add another method that says that def service and self. We are not going to pass any external argument to this function. We're just passing self. Self means that all these variables they'll be passed to it. And did we have the last service here? Yeah. So what we are going to do is we are going to now update this last service kilometer variable equal to the self kilometer traveled. So every time this car goes to any workshop, say they call this method, okay? And they perform the service and they call this method. And once this method is called, what happens is that now in the car's memory, it is updated that the car was serviced on such kilometers, whatever the kilometers on the odometer was showing, whatever the number was, it holds that memory. So it is like a switch in the car where which you push it for, say, usually in the cars, either they would use some instrument, or there would be a method that if you press some button or combination of buttons for, say, 5 seconds or 7 seconds, then that method is called. All right. Car 1 model 2, car 1. Where in that code, can you specify the line where the problem is? Are you talking to me, or?
Sorry, you're talking to me. I
All
think
right.
it says, I think it's in line 20, if I'm not wrong. In my, or where is this? 22, sorry.
22 is in my code, it's blank. Or for the next part,
Now I'm talking the previous one, the one we
this
initially
one.
worked on. I think it was
Yeah.
meant to, or maybe for me it was. It
No,
says
you
the one,
can
the one
let me
that's
know the print statement, or
yeah, the print car
the
one
first
dot
part,
make.
the first one or the second one.
It is the second one.
Second print statement. You see that
Yeah,
we are making it car 1, the make. It fetches the information for car 1 make, which is Mazda in that case. And then
okay.
for car 1 model, it's CX90. Has traveled is definitely
Okay,
a
I figured out
literal.
what I did wrong.
Yeah.
When it says car one dot model, I said car one dot model one. So which I think that's where I went wrong.
Yeah, no, it's these variable names would be same. You do not want to change
Yeah.
them.
Okay,
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. They are same
Perfect.
for
Yeah, without adding one or two, whatever.
yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, it'll be difficult for
Yeah.
us to write automated code. So if you want to, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. And if you see that in the real world, it's not like that. If we are all say, if we all all the people, they are objects, or all the persons, they would have some attributes associated with them. So they have name, they have first name, they have last name, and they have other say IDs. Or so we say that it's your name, it's my name. So name is that attribute. We just, my name is this, my is this, your is this variable or object. Okay, but name is the same attribute. So these are the attributes which would remain same for everyone. Okay, now any questions for this? So in this definition, coming back to our second part of the code, what we have done is we have created another object, car, and the car travels 1200 and 500, and we say that the print car last service. Okay, and then we service the car, and then again we print that car dot last service kilometers. So what happens is, because we have, though the car has traveled 1700 kilometers, first time when we print this, this was not updated. So it printed that car was serviced because it was a new car, so car was serviced at 0 kilometers, right? And then we serviced it. We just made a call to this function or method, and then car service was registered. And then when we printed it again, now it is showing us 1700 kilometers. Any questions for this part? All good? Let's move to the next part then.
How do we know on which kilometer the car has been serviced? Like, do we need to specify like any numbers for that?
Yeah, right now we are not specifying. We in the next programs we will specify that when the car service is required. Right now we have just mentioned that whenever we want to service, we can register a service using this function. Previously, in the previous models, the car definition, we say that up to 80s, whatever cars we were making, we did not have that functionality. Now we have added this functionality. We can see at least when the car was serviced, but it is not keeping the record that when the next service is due or other things. We will see that how we update our software for the cars, and then we create more objects, and we see how the newer uh, 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 newer version of that car is behaving. So at this stage, we have added just this functionality, that it just tells us that when the car was last serviced, and that's the information that that is enough for us. So we say that if it is required every 5,000 kilometers, we can say when the car was serviced, and we can compare with the odometer. And if the difference is 5,000 or more, we say that we should go to service. So this is for now. Now let's move to the next part. All right, so now we have added another function which returns us that kilometers since last service. Previously, this is returning us what? Precisely at what kilometers the car was serviced. Now, when we using this function, using this function, kilometer since last service, which is the difference of kilometer traveled, means that the recent kilometers on the odometer, and when we subtract when the car was last serviced, we can see the difference on the screen, or we can get the difference at least. So here what we are doing is we are creating the car object. We say that it has traveled 1500 kilometers, print car kilometers since last serviced, right? So it prints what? 1500 kilometers, okay? Because it was serviced at 0 kilometer. Then we have serviced the car. Again, we print it using that method, okay? And now it says that it has it has been serviced at 0 kilometers. So because immediately after the service, we have called that function, and it says that since the car was last serviced, only 0 kilometer they've been traveled. And later we drive the car for another 2,500 kilometers, and we want to see that how many kilometers we have traveled. Okay, but if we say now print 1 kilometers traveled, it should be telling us the car in total has traveled how many? 4,000 kilometers. But since last service, it has only traveled 2,500 kilometers. So this is how we are adding more functionality to our template. And remember that again, this is object oriented. Whatever we are doing here in this definition, all the objects you create from that class, they will enjoy this functionality. They will have this functionality added to them. Now, any questions so far? All good? Now, this is an extra step and an extra added service which we are going to add. So we are going to add that is service due, all right? So for this function, we need some information. And if I ask you when the service becomes due for a car, anyone?
We need an if statement.
No, in general, if we are driving a car for a real car, when do you think that now the service has become due?
10,000 kilometers, it runs 10,000 kilometers.
10,000 kilometers or 5,000, whatever the specific kilometers specified, the company are mentioned. So that is that we say that now the car since the last service, it's not that the total kilometers. So he says after every service, when either 5,000 or 10,000, whatever the company mentions, after the last service, you need to do the next service. So here, what we have done is we have initialized a new or added a new variable which says it's kind of a constant. We are adding because we won't be changing this throughout the program once it is set. So service kilometer, we say that it is 10,000. The default value is 10,000. So we have the facility that if we want, we can change this. So for a few more advanced cars, that even goes up to 30,000 kilometers these days, or 20,000 or 15,000, or even for some cars, we say it is just 5,000 kilometers. So on average, standard value we have set, say 10,000 kilometers, and we have set this value for our object. Service kilometer is self.service kilometer is service kilometers. Now we want to write the function. So the function should be that when the kilometer since last service are now more than or greater than the value, this 10,000 kilometers, this value, whatever this value is, we set this constant value, 5,000, 6,000, 10,000. In our case, this is 10,000. When the kilometers since last service are now greater than this returns us true value, because this is a condition. All right. So when this becomes larger than this is just comparing left-hand side with the right-hand side. If left-hand side is greater than right-hand side, it returns a true value. All right. So we see now here, we have a car, Toyota Prius, where the car traveled 4,000 kilometers. We say print car is service due. We call this function. So it says false. So we drive it for another 6,000 kilometers. So in total, now car has traveled 10,500 kilometers. So what do? We again check whether the service is due. So it says, yes, true, the car service is due. Now we service the car, and then again, we immediately after that, we call the function or call the method for car. And now it says it is false because it has just been serviced and it is 0 kilometers since last service. All right. Any questions?
No. So when you add the 6,000 on top, like on the 29th line, it will add to the 4,500?
It'll add to the, yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, it is because it is adding, car travel is adding to, here you see that we when we call travel, when we see the travel, so there is the addition to the previous traveled,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Yeah, so
becomes
we don't have to
10,000. It
Yeah.
becomes in total 10,500. So it's like a real car. On the odometer, you see your kilometers keep increasing when you keep driving the car. So it's only this which resets is that kilometers since last service. That is the thing which resets.
Yeah.
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 Question. In the real world, if you have this in operation, if you need to put an automatic calculation that whenever the car is due for service, where do you put the logic? Inside the class or outside the class?
Inside the class, yes.
You can put it. So what happens is you put the logic inside the class on that method, and then it actually calculated right away. The moment the service is due, it will just spill out a return.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So in actual cars, what happens is that these functions they might be checked every time when you start the car. Not every second, there is no need for that. But every time you see, if you sometimes there when your service is due, you start your car first time in the morning, and then it gives you the warning light. Now service has become due. Last night, even when you remember that when you would be driving your car, there was all good. But now in the morning, you have just started, though the same kilometers are there. You haven't traveled the car. You haven't driven the car during the night. It was all parked in your garage, and now you started the car, and it gives you. And for some other cars, it depends. But usually, it just does whenever first time the car starts, or it does the calculation, and it is because it's not an immediate thing. So you do not want to burden your car's computer just checking this thing every second. Okay, there are other things like your engine status or other things, and oil level, coolant temperature, and speed limit, and there are different other parameters like weather conditions and all that your car, of course, measures and functions multiple times in a second, or performs the checks for multiple times per second, say sometimes even hundreds of times per second. But this is not anything that car would be doing every day, every minute. So yeah, it really depends. For instance, ABS checking, it does multiple times or multiple times per millisecond, I would say. Yes.
Dr. Noor, on like in line number 19, you're defining the function is service due, And in line number 27 and 30, you're calling that function under the within the print command. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because if we print it, if we call it directly here, it won't print anything.
Print, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it is just returning true or false.
All right.
But we want to print this, so that's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, now the bonus task associated with this one is that you want to print output like this. We have all the functions, similar functions, okay, but we have that this print service status, okay. So we want to just print that. When we call this print, all the relevant informations are pieces of information is printed. So current kilometers is this 12,500, last service this much, next service this much, service due for. Okay, so we have this. This is very simple, nothing complicated, nothing complex. Okay. So, yeah. So any questions for this? So this is just a bonus task. So we are creating a Toyota Prius. Car travels 5,000. Car travels another 5,000. Car travels another 5,000. And now car has been serviced at 15,000 kilometers, right? Then car travels another 5,000. Car travels another 6,000. So we see the car has traveled 26,000 kilometers so far, and last service is what? It was done on 15,000 kilometers, and next service is on 25,000. But the service is now due because it was due on 25,000, but now current is 26. So if we just try changing this, car hasn't traveled yet 25,000 kilometers, so it says false. Okay. Any questions for this part?
So the 25,000, next service 25,000, is it like 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, that's a 15,000. And then our service kilometer is 10,000. Is that 15,000 plus 10,000?
Yes, 15,000 plus 10,000.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And usually it is, they say that you should service every 10,000 kilometers. So it ideally, if you keep servicing your car every 10,000 kilometers, so it will be first on 10,000, second service due on 20 and 30. But now there is a problem, or there is a catch. So what if you missed, or if you traveled, or if you drove your car little extra, say, or you serviced it little earlier? Okay, so if you have traveled because that does not depend, actual service is not depending on your kilometers, right? This is an indication what actually is that you need to take care of. If this is my question, so it's the kilometer is just a symbol or symptom of that. All right, so what it is actually. So if you have just service, you missed, say, you bought a car and you drove it for you drove it for, say, 19,000 kilometers, and you didn't get it service. All right, and now you got it serviced at 19,000 kilometers. Okay. So it should not be complaining that the next service is due on 20,000 kilometers it should not be due on just in 1,000 kilometers. So now the next service would be from 19 to another 10,000. It should be due on 29,000 kilometers. All right. And it's, as I said, that it's not the car traveling kilometers, it's the fluids which are inside, which they need to be changed. So it's their condition on that. They say that the company says or suggests that they would be good for, say, or up to only 10,000 kilometers, and then you need to change them. And once you have changed them at any stage, rather at 5,000 or 15,000, so they are again good for another extra 10,000 kilometers. Okay, so the service goes from that point onwards. So here we are just trying to implement.
I got some question, Doctor.
Yeah.
Now, I understand the function of the class, which is the template, and also we are working on strings, integers, or whatever. Can this also can keep image? For example, on that particular unit, image of the car can you include image? The memory?
We can, yeah, we can image. They would be usually files. So what it would be that you would refer to a file name on your drive.
Okay.
Okay, and then it would be loaded from that image. And if you are using graphical user interface, it can fetch the image from there and load it into the memory.
So it's also become part of that class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's easy if we say that we would be, rather than here, we would be the image of the car. So we would say that image self dot image. Okay, and that image would be what? It would be a simple string, and that we say that is the file path. Okay, you can simply say file path, and it'll load the file path. And if it is a graphical user interface, then it can load, and then we can write a function display image somewhere. Though it is not the part of our this discussion, so we're not going to do that. But then this will read the file from file path.
Or a
Okay.
JPEG,
JPEG file or BM, whatever the accepted images are, that will load from the file path and will display the image. That's it. But think of this think of this piece of code not a graphical user interface. It's not it's not a part of any record keeping system. Think of this software which we are writing here as a part of a computer system which is just inside the car. All right, inside the car's computer, somewhere in the cluster or in its dashboard, somewhere inside that. So think of this as embedded software. We are writing the information for that. Okay. And so there we won't need any images. But you're right. If we need, we can have image associated as well. Okay. All right. Now, so any questions so far? Now there is another program. This is what I have just added last night. So these are extra programs. So here we say that we want to have a book class. It has got title, author, and it keeps the record of how many pages you have read. All right. So it starts, of course, with 0 pages read, and then you can see that you can call this method that if you have read some more pages, you can. I can't remember that why we use the term self. Good question. So here, if you look at this, we are using these variable names. All right. Kilometer or service kilometer or kilometer traveled. But we are passing to this function. Are we passing any values of these? So when we pass self to these methods, everything that is associated with self is just passed to that. So we are actually passing that whole object to the function. So that is why we are using self. We do not want to pass, or we do not need to pass any more any separate variable names here. So we pass one self, okay, and self, when we say self, it will have the make in it, it will have the model in it, it will have the kilometers traveled, all the variables which we have defined here, self would be containing that. So self can be a container for all the variables. All right. That is the reason.
Now, it can you also call self as the key variable?
Let me first answer. So print self is not the right thing. We want to print whatever the specific information is. We say that self dot kilometers. Okay. So print last service. So self dot last service. So that is, but we have passed only self here, but self has all the information, all the variables, including the names of those variables. All right. So self dot kilometer, when we say, it'll be printing the kilometers for that specific object. All right. So we won't be printing self, because even if we print, or if it just throws, let's print this self. Okay. To do is this is it prints print service status or print. So it is not printing the individual variables. So to access those, you need to specify that from self what information you want to access. Okay.
So for print, we don't need to specify in like in a class, init class.
Repeat again. We are using the print statement in the class. Yes.
Yeah, to print any statement, we should not specify in the class. Like
we need to specify that if we want to print this, we want to specify. And the other day I gave the example for the self. So I'm repeating that explanation. So when we are writing this code, we have written this code. We haven't written this code, and think of that, we would never write that code. Okay. We would never write that code. But we are just writing, or we have just written this definition. Okay. Now, of course, there will be objects created out of this class. We want to create objects from this class definition, but we do not know that. And think of this way. I am creating this class. Okay. I am creating this class. I have created, or I'm writing the code for this class. And if I ask you to create objects from this class, what object names would you suggest? Can all of you write your names for these objects which you're going to create? For that, I would like all of you to write some names which you would use to create objects out of this class. It seems no one wants to create. All right. Okay. Subaru, Outback, Okay, good. And someone else? Car model, all right. Good. Perfect. Suzuki, Jimny, good. ID, Kia, yes. Now, I am not aware of all of these. When I am writing this is pure your choice. I'm not aware of all these names which you would be using. Okay. But I need to define a template. So I have this specific self name for that model, which you would be creating. And I need to refer to that somehow, like when a baby is yet to be born, and we are doing the shopping, we are discussing about baby and all that, we call it a baby until the baby is born, and then a specific name is given to him or her. So then we start calling that baby with a particular name. But before that, we call it baby. Here, same is the thing, that until we do not have that object born yet, so we want to refer it with certain name, and that certain name is self. All right. And that has been provided to us from Python. Okay, so it means that that object, all those objects one by one, all of them, they would have make, we say. Okay, and self would be replaced with all those names which you have mentioned here. For instance, here it is going to be replaced with car, or car one in my case. But in your cases, you have mentioned all these models. So when you create these models, so they would be replaced, this self would be replaced with that. So I wanted to refer to that future object using some name. So that name, and that should be a generic name so that it applies to every object. So that is self. How that clarifies, or is still not? Yeah, it's the container definition, or it's the generic definition. So we want to refer to all the future objects which we haven't yet created. Okay. Okay, now we have a very basic. So it's just the repetition of that book. So we are going to read the book 25 pages and 30 pages. Now I ask you to add one more functionality in that, and you should do it by yourself. That is, when you create a book, you should have the maximum number of pages. Okay, for that book, say 200 pages. And when you keep reading, when you say you have 30, 40, 50, 20, and you keep reading more and more pages, there would be a limit then. When you still keep reading more pages, it should freeze at the max pages. Okay, and when you retrieve the information from that, it should be saying, now, okay, we have reached the limit. We cannot read more than 200 pages out of this book. Okay, got it? Now, this is more advanced. So here we have class student, and we have got a student ID, and we have got name, we have got age. All right, and they are all coming as coming to this constructor. And then we have a definition display. When we call this, all the relevant information for that particular student would be displayed on the screen. And now we have a list here, though we'll be discussing more about those lists and in the future. But lists are objects, like we can say multiple variables in them or values in them. So they are combination of multiple values. So we have initialized an empty list, and then we have this while true loop. It means that it will keep going on until it breaks. We'll see that what the break is. So what we are going to do is we are going to enter student ID, okay? And we say that the exist is false. This is at this stage, this is false. And we want to check that if the same ID is already existing in the student list. So students is what? Is this list. And we want to pick one student at one time using this for loop. From the previous experience, we have that we were picking one integer from the range. Here we say for S in students, it means the student is one student at one time, and S dot student ID is that student ID. Then exists becomes true, because when we checked with the list, the same ID was already existing. So we break, okay? And when we break, so what we go out, and where we go out, we continue. So if it exists, okay, so we go out of the loop, for loop. So we go, and if it exists, so we want to input another choice that ID already exists. So re-enter R or quit queue. So you want to add another student with different ID. So you have now these choices. So if the choice is queue, you break the loop. So this time, this break is for this while. First time, if this break was for this for, so that we came here. Now this time you break, you go out of this loop. Else you continue and you go on the top. You want to ask again for the for another student ID. And if the ID is good, so you ask your system, your user to input enter name and enter age. Once they are added, so what do? We create an object out of all these pieces of information. Student ID, now that has been verified. There is no duplicates for this ID, and we have got name. Though name can be repeated, age can be repeated, but we cannot repeat the ID. There could be two students with the same name and same age. Okay, and then we append that newly created object student, which we call a student, to our students list. So that newly created student would be now appended to our list, which was started as an empty list. Okay, and now you print student records. Okay, once the data has all been created, so then that is just displayed. Now let's run this code. Yeah, now student ID, we say that ST001. Okay, name is John. And age is, say, 19. And another student we want to add, yes. Now I want to say ST, and I made a mistake and I typed the same ID. So already exists. So I want to re-enter. So yes, I say R, and then student ID. Now this time ST, sorry, 002. And student name. Now student name could be, I just don't want to go with John, so Alex. Now age is 20. Now I want to add another one, another record. No, don't want to. So this is how we are printing. So here what we are doing, again, we are using the same list, which is students. We are picking one student from the list, and we are asking within the loops body, just take that student and display. It'll take first student and second student, and those will be printed. All
Sorry,
right.
Doctor, I am a bit confused. When you say S and Q,
Yeah.
can you explain as to why you're using S and Q and
Where are they? What line? If you specify line numbers,
So in the very first one, number 28 or
number
27.
27,
Yeah, so
where
for
there is
S,
no Q associated with that.
no. So why are you saying for S in student? What
I
is
can write student. This is my choice. This is a variable name. So let me explain you. So what is happening here? We are now adding, because I cannot show you. Let me write. Did you get the idea of students or not? Did you get first you need to understand the idea of students. Basically, this is a list, all right, and it would be containing all the information. Now, this is holding the whole information, this student and this student, separated by comma, all right? And when we say S in students, it will be first taking that student, all right, and then it will be taking this student. Now here we are not having car 1 or car 2 or car 3 data. We have that S that will assume the first student in the list. Second time it will assume the second student, the information for the second, and forever for whatever student is now S is holding, it'll be displaying the information for that student. All right.
verbal? Oh, okay.
So now let's see. Let me show you. Maybe this works for us. So I am again saying ST and one ST001 ID name was John, and then age 19 we had, and yes, I want to add another one, and student is ST002, and now sorry, sorry, my mistake. So I think that it should. How come? That is very strange. Anyways, 003. No, sorry, not here. R. I want to enter R. Re-enter ST003, and name is Alex. This time I want to age 25. This time I want to say, now you see, here you see that these are the records, which of course are not, because now they are the references basically to the student object. So what it is doing is taking one object at this time and call the student object, print or display function for that. That is this function for that particular student here. Okay. And that particular information is fetched and printed. And then this time, this information is printed. Okay. So from the list, it is taking one student at a time because they were stored one at a time. It is picking just one information, one student information at a time, and just displaying that information for that. Now, any confusion regarding this?
I do have a question with regards to if
Yeah.
you scroll up a little bit more to the
Yes.
very beginning, I just want to ask about the break and the continue. So we've got the while loop there, while true,
Yeah.
and then we have the first for. So if it breaks there,
Yeah.
it will go to the next if.
Yes.
So it's just breaking out of that if
This break is for that loop
for the for.
in which
Okay.
that appears. So this is appearing inside that body of this loop. So it breaks
Sure.
this. So the idea behind it, we can remove this. We can remove this. It'll
Yeah.
still be working. The code will still be working, but we have this to make it efficient. So what if there were
Sure.
10,000 records and the second record was matched? Okay. We do not want to iterate through rest of the
For the rest.
9,998 records.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
we want to
sure.
immediately break and do the rest of the processing that you want to ask, whether you want to re-enter or quit, right?
Okay, so
Yeah.
that part I understand. Now, when you go to the next one, the next if, which is the line 33, we've
Yeah.
got the break and then we've got the continue. But
Yeah.
when we say else continue, it goes back to the while loop.
It goes back to continue goes back to the while loop to the top
I
because
think that's where I'm having my question. I thought it will go back to the if to the if, right?
no, it won't. Break and
No.
continue are related to loops.
Okay, so it will
Yeah.
go to the next, to the loop in which it exists. So because
Yeah.
it doesn't exist in that for loop, it will
It
go
is
to
not
the
in the
while
for loop.
loop.
It is, yeah. So it
It
is
is
in
in the
this loop.
while
It would
loop.
go to, yeah, or
Right.
it would
Okay.
break and it will just print that now we want to quit.
Ah,
We want to
okay.
just
Thank
finish the
you.
operation. Yes.
Sure.
Hi,
Thank you.
I
Understand.
have a question in the same loop. If the students list is empty,
Yeah.
once the for loop at number 27 exits straight away,
Yeah, it won't check anything because if
if the list is empty,
it's the
the
first,
loop is not going to run at
yeah,
all.
if
And
this is the first time, we can
yeah,
even check if it is the first time, right? If
yeah.
it is the first time we are entering a student and it comes here, so we say that we can print that and check that. Okay.
And in this case, it will go to the if statement straight away.
Yeah,
And it will be
because a
false.
student S would take
Oh,
one student at a time,
yeah.
so it won't run ideally because there are no students and there are no students. There is no point in comparing or in finding that whether the ID exists or not. All right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Thanks.
And this is our logical, of course, choice that we just do not want to check. All right. So I think this is pretty
I
clear.
have a
And
question about in number line 33.
33, yes.
Yeah, we said that exist is false. So when we come to line 34, if exist means if false, right?
No, exist means if exists is true, then you go inside the condition body when the condition is true. So if exist is true, we could write it like that is
So why there is
true.
still break the if just break, then it still work for the if loop.
So if it is true means that ID has been found previously in the list. Some other student has the same ID because we are checking this after entering the ID, yet we haven't entered any name or age. So that is where we want to make a choice, whether we want to quit or re-enter the ID.
But we said break if exist is true. So why still we need if
No,
exist?
it's Q. We want to break if.
No, I mean line 31. We said break.
Yeah,
When
we said break because now we do not want to. This exist is. I ask you this question. This exist is doing exists is true, okay, and then that break is doing what actually?
is breaking the loop.
Breaking the loop. And why is it breaking the loop?
Because there is
Because
yeah.
Because ID has been found.
Mm.
All right. So if ID has been found, it's like that. It's like you lost your car keys and you search them and you find them. What do you do?
I go to the unlock the car.
That's it. That's what we are doing here. Why still you want to go to other room and search all the rooms? You found your key and you still are finding. So we just want to break the search. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They are not in the same loop, like the second.
This is for this loop. You're exiting this loop.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Yeah.
So you found the ID, of course. So if it was not until the last room you found your key, you would keep finding it in every room. So, but if you found it in the second room or the first room, you want to break and go and do something else. So that something else is there.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Yep.
Okay, one more question for the same loop from 27 to 31. Can we make that as an additional method for the object to check if there are duplicates or not? And we use that method whenever we need it, and it will return true or false?
We can, but now we can do it somehow, but it won't be logical because this search is not a part of the student class, because we are keeping these students, as I explained, that these forms, these are like empty forms, and you're filling in the information, and they are being kept in a drawer, all right?
Yes.
Or a cabinet. So because this is a cabinet where we are going to keep them, or some record keeping facility, so that's why it should be outside of this. So it is something which is accessing this students. Not all the student records are being held here.
Yes, but the cabinet or the students list is a global, isn't it?
It's kind of global, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. Then that's what I'm saying, but it won't be very logical. Then we would have to pass this to that, and it would find, the object would try finding that if through the list, and it is not logical or even not secure to pass the whole list to one single object. It's not like you are allowing one student to go to the drawer or to the cabinet and look at this list, right?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, so we have the similar product management system here. If you look at this, here we have got you've got the product and its product ID, name, and price. We have the product list and all that. The only difference is that we have the display function outside. We have moved it outside that, and we have made it outside. And when we want to print, we bring in each product P at one time, and then we want to print using the external loop. That's the only difference. Otherwise, it's the pretty much same code. All right. And this is what we would be using in our assessment too, because we have got a display function separate entity, which would be bringing the information for all the cars and would be displaying.
Question.
Yes.
I understand about the while loop, which is calculating all the availability on the memory. For effective programming, can you put this one inside the class so that you don't even see it, or it is
which one?
All of the while loop, can you put it as a method inside your class?
My answer would be, in the good practice, or even it won't make sense. Again, I am saying, because here, you see, this is where the institution is in the program.
I understand. Yes, that is where, but that is all associated with the student, right?
So so that's what
can you put that as a method inside that class?
That's what
is
I
also
am
possible?
trying to. That's again, I am repeating that. That's what I'm trying to say. We can do this. Then we would have to provide this access to this student, to this list, to this class. All right.
Okay.
And that's what we want. We do not want to do that because this object, because it won't be, we would be writing the code here though, but it would be every single object looking into this list, which is against the good programming practices and cybersecurity practices. Why would you allow every student to look into the records of every other student? When you write here anything, it means that this is not only for one student, it is for all the students. And all the students would be able to have access to the other records or other students' records. That's why. We can write it. We can write it. We can call it as a function,
now.
the same function. Now, say you want to enter the data. So yeah, so you can, rather I ask you to develop a code. So you say that def and enter, let me say student, okay. And then you just copy a little bit modification and you want to pass this as well, okay. And you want to pass self and comma and student this list. Now what you are actually doing is you're giving this whole bundle, whole access to the list or the records of other students to a student which has not yet been enrolled in the system as well. Okay.
Yep.
So that's what we do not want to do.
Can I ask one general question?
Yeah, sure.
I'm just thinking of introducing list with this practice. At the top, we have the attribute of the object, yeah?
Yes,
And
these
we
ones, yes.
generally be creating a class with attribute.
Yeah.
The way you are introducing list is with that student list. You enforcing that the list object just with that line 21. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are initializing a blank list that no students after the class. We are saying that we have students. We would be keeping this in this cabinet or in this drawer. So this is just empty one, and then we start enrolling students.
Yeah. Basically, we are saying our object type is list with
No,
the line.
here, yeah, this is our list. Object type is list. When you type even, so yeah. Oh, let me show you. Print. So you say students. Students, and you try running the code. So you see, sorry, no, my mistake. It should be type. Okay, so you see, it is class list. Yeah.
Thank you.
It'll be list of objects when we keep entering data. So it'll be list of objects, right? And objects of what class? Of class student.
Yeah, basically, this is the way we need to do our assessment.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, just quick short break. We come back and we discuss a little bit about our assessment. All right. Or do we have any further questions with this? I think this is pretty clear now. The concept of classes and objects should be clear to everyone, including the lists a little bit. All right. All good. So quick break. So 26, we come at 30 or 31, come back. All right, so we are back. I hope that you can see the screen, all of you. All right. Now, there was a bit of confusion regarding this bit and the file path and all that. So I want to clarify that as well. So what we want to do here is, this is our file. Everyone would have this file there. So there are two methods basically. Either you want to, when you click on this part, okay, you say that this is the workspace of this Google Colab for this very specific specific file, Colab notebook. When you want to work on that data, what you do is you drag and drop this way. And after that, you say that my file path is going to be this. Okay, and it immediately, what happens is it immediately get access to your file because it is in the same location where your actual file is, your Colab file is. But this is the plus side. You would have direct access to that, immediate access, no access required to the to your Google Drive. But there is downside as well, that whenever you close this, because of course you would be working in sessions, you close it, this file is gone. The next time you would have to again put that file there, and that'll be working. That is not a hard job. But the second or more robust way is that when you're working on the larger projects and you want to work for multiple days or projects or in team, so you want to keep that file in your Google Drive. All right. For the Google Drive, you want to mount your Google Drive and you want to run this code. Okay. And once you run this code, it asks you for the permission and you check all the permissions. Then what happens is that it gives this particular account, your own account, not any other account, your own account, and this particular Colab notebook where this is executed. Okay, even if you copy and download it and save it and upload the file, then again that same file, even in the same account, you won't have that access. Okay, so this is how you mount your Google Drive to, or you link your Google Drive with your Colab notebook. Now you have your file there, and you want to have your file. So usually when you place your file, this path should be fine. But in my case, what I have done is I have created a folder which is called data sets, and I have placed my file there within my drive. This is a standard content drive, my drive. Everyone, this is very standard. Everyone would use that. But if you are having a folder there in your Google Drive, then you would write the path here. So datasets is my my Google Drive path folder. That's why I've added that, and in that folder I have this this file. So that's why this. Otherwise, if you just simply drag and drop your file to your Google Drive, and you have run this code, and you do not need to run this code multiple times. This is only once in a life for this file. Okay, it will be having access, and next time you just come and you run your code, it'll all be good once you have access. The simplest is that if nothing is working, just drag and drop and start working on that if it bothers, right? Just this, you would have to only drag and drop your sales data set there, and your code should be working. So any questions for this part now? All good? I don't hear any yes, no.
So one question I have, in this case, up to this point, does it shows the file data?
It accesses the file data. The next part is that we want to see the data, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So at this point, we have accessed file path is the path. We haven't fetched any data from that. Now we will start working on that part. Okay, we have this try and accept method where we want to write if anything we write it in try. Maybe this is not making any sense at this stage. Don't worry about that. This has been given to you because if the file path you are trying to open is not existing, your program would not break. Rather, it would print this message safely and it will land safely, and it'll say that the file does not exist. Okay, but if everything is good, your file paths are fine, and your file has been uploaded here, it'll be not a problem. So now next is that what I want to, for the quickness, I just want to copy and paste
Doctor,
some.
excuse me.
Yeah,
Is the
please.
try is a function that actually is equivalent to else?
It's a structure. It's a structure.
Structure, yeah.
Yeah.
And it also equivalent to else, correct? Instead of
Yes, try means if everything is good, then run the try, and within the try, if anything breaks or in error, usually if you get an error, is some kind of error, your program breaks. All right?
okay.
You
But
and
if you can use also else there instead of try.
no, you cannot. Try and accept is for especially for error handling, and this is standard. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
If would not catch any error in that case. Okay. So here we say that we are catching a specific error. If the error is this file not found, okay, you want to accept that this error, then you want to go inside this and do these lines or run these statements. Okay.
That particular except that one, what is actually doing? Did you actually go into the data?
I would
open the
say
loop, yeah.
I would say now we are opening the loop. I would suggest that we keep this discussion for the try and accept till our 6th week discussion. Maybe you won't be asking even these questions because we want to focus on the main thing, because this is already given to you. You have to use it. Okay. So in the try, remember that try is like, and a structure like if and else. So what we want to do is that now we are opening a file. With this command, we say that open file path we have been given file path, and if it is all good, file path, we run this code and we open the file. We will be discussing more about open and methods and all that. Right now, this R means we are opening the file in the reading mode. We cannot write this. We are just reading the data because we want to process the data. We are reading the data, and then file is an object now, or it's a hook, or it's a pipeline to the actual file here. And we can now, using the for loop, we can access lines. Every time we would be accessing one line at a time from the file. We have opened a file, now we are processing the file here. And what is the process? Here we see we have the line, we use a strip function, and a strip does what? Anyone?
Strips
Within the
of
Remove
spaces,
white spaces.
leading and trailing spaces.
Yeah, if there are spaces around the data or a string, it removes those spaces because we do not want those spaces. Next
Spaces,
part
yeah.
is, yeah, and next part is split. It is doing what?
On the comma, separating by comma.
It is separating the comma, the pieces of the information in that with a comma. All right. And we have used this here space that even after the split, because there are, when we look at the data, there are spaces. So we are using that as well. So what happens is now parts is what my question is, that what is parts? Or what is the type of the parts?
It's a list.
It is a list. Now it'll be giving us the list. So now let me open that file for us. So it'll be a list like this. Okay. Like this. It'll be not the whole thing because line is just one thing. And first, if there were some spaces around like this, here maybe like this, there were spaces. This is just to show you that now after first strip will do this. It'll remove all the spaces and then it will create a list of parts that and I think that we have covered this in the previous lab as well, if you have done the example. So it has created a list and it has put all the parts. Now part, only one variable, it will be having what? It will be having all this information one by one. So it, for the first time, it will have 1001 John laptop and 12,000. Now, next part is very interesting. So here what we are doing,
checking this.
Only four.
yeah, we say that
Proper.
if the parts length of the list parts is not 4, it means what? If the data is something like that,
If it's not 4 pieces of information
for
on each
complete
line.
full information, 4 pieces, then skip that. That means that continue and go and fetch the next information, next line, right? So we are making sure that the data should be useful for us, because if we miss the data, if we don't have the name or the price or the ID, it means that data is not useful for us. All right. So that's what we are doing here. So far, any questions or confusions?
So we need to write a code for like line 7, 8, 9, 10.
I am writing here the code and it'll be available. I'm writing in the actual file. After this lab, everyone would have access to this code. I'm not going to delete that.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
But of course, because we are learning this, we need to know that what is happening. Okay. So next, now I want to discuss something about, mainly we will be discussing about this in the future, but at this stage, a little know-how should be given. So in the beginning of the program, you see that we have sales records and product sales. All right. These are what?
Directories.
These are dictionaries.
Dictionaries.
Okay. So we have 2 empty dictionaries. Now the dictionary is a little bit different than lists. It has got multiple items, but in a different. So it has got key, okay, and value. The value pairs. So you have key and then whether I should write it like that, key and value, and we store our information in this pattern, key and value. So key 1 and its value 1, and key 2, value 2, and key 3 and its value 3. And remember that in the dictionary, it's like a literal dictionary. A word can appear only once. It could have, so multiple words in the dictionary can have the same meaning, but the key words where what you're looking for, they appear only for once. So keys would be unique. Even if you try to add another key, it'll just replace the existing key. Okay, so that is the idea that our dictionaries would look like. Any questions about that part?
So you're talking
No, that
about
will be automatically inside the sales record, or are you just giving example?
This is just an example that our dictionaries, which we are going to write now, they would be looking like this,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah, yeah,
We would have keys and we would have values.
yeah.
Key and value, key and value. All right. Now let's do the second part. So we understand that we have loaded the data and we have one line of data every time. For the loop, we have opened a link to our file. We are fetching one line at a time. We are making the pieces, and if the information is all good, we would have every time 4 pieces of information, and that would be what? That would be ID, name of the salesman or salesperson, the product they have sold, and the price for what they have sold. Every time until the file is not completely exhausted or retrieved or read, we will have this information one by one. We will fetch this information one by one. All right?
Doctor,
Yes.
question.
Yes,
Now,
yes, sure.
you are pointing on that 1001, which is the ID, right? So
Yeah.
the P is the ID, and then the value is 101. Is that right?
Yeah, 101 is no, we know that the first value would be ID. We know that it has nothing to do with the dictionary. This is a file. We would put it in the dictionary according to our own structure. We don't correlate yet with this. This has nothing to do yet with the dictionary. We have been given a file and we are processing it according to our own needs. All right. You will understand when I write the next piece of code.
So in this case, sales records and product sales are two different dictionaries.
Two different dictionaries, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And doctor, that when that file number 5 and 6, they will just open a dictionary which is just blank one, correct?
Yeah, dictionaries are yet we have empty dictionaries, yes.
Empty, just empty. But the number, you don't know what's the number right now.
Just let me copy this. Let me first copy this. We discuss it and problem with that. Okay, so now next thing is that we split these parts which we have created. So we are now adding from that list, we say that divide this first part goes to what? Employee ID. The second part from the list goes to salesperson, product, and sales amount. Do we get that? Now, this is where we are processing. We have started our own processing. We have read data from the file. It had 4 pieces. Now we have given the name to that those pieces of information. The first part, we know that from the file, it was what? ID. We say that it is employee ID. Now in the code, we would be referring to that as employee ID. The second one is what? The salesperson. We will be the variable which we would be identifying in the when we read the first line. Salesperson would hold what? John, and the product would be laptop, and the sale amount would be what? 1,200. Any questions or anything need clearance?
No, the comment, we don't really have to write that, right? You're only
No. This is just for the
Yeah.
But if you like, for your own information, for your own, when you are I think that needs a little bit, So for your own, this, and for the explanation of everyone, I have written, I've written it here, okay? Yeah, there is no problem. If you want, you can, someone is asking that if we can change the structure, if you want, you can change the structure, but this is the basic structure because it aligns with our learning curve and my explanation. That's why we are using it. But if you want, you can change it. But mainly, I would recommend you keep those structures there. And I don't know if there are confusions. You can contact me and I can try clearing the confusion. So this is my answer to that question. Now we have parts. So one more thing is that.
Doctor,
Yeah.
when you move the indentation, remember on your thing you have a line. Where do you set that line to be on all the time? Indentation.
So because this is in the for loop. You see?
No. How do you put the line there? Who in the setting?
I don't know. It should be somewhere in the code, somewhere in the, not in the code, somewhere in the setting.
Setting.
Yeah.
Because what happens is very difficult to get the indentation right. Sometimes one space can give you a fault error.
Yeah, you
right
can
away.
check. You can go into the editor settings, and it should be there somewhere, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Now, one thing here is that the sale amount is because everything else, ID and all they are a string. They were loaded as strings, but because we want we want it processed like a number, so we are converting that amount or that piece of information into float. Okay. Someone has already given you the hint so that you can check. Okay,
So,
now, yeah.
Sorry, quick question here. The assignment specifically says that we need to, the program should be able to validate invalid rows.
So this is what we have done. That was invalid row was.
Right, exactly. So it's just like we were checking for the length, not that data value is and like that, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
We cannot comment on that whether the ID is correct because it has been given to us. That's fine. So we don't have any further information.
But yeah, so we should assume the data is correct as long as
data is correct. Only the line should be. And even this is just to show you all this whole file, the whole line, they are well formed. So there is no problem with the data.
Yeah, okay. We can assume that.
But
Thank you.
But maybe I can test with a file which has got some entries missing. So this should be there. But as now it is available for everyone, so everyone should be good to go. Otherwise, unless you're going to delete these lines. Okay, now moving forward. Now here is the interesting part, and what we are going to do is now. You see that this sales record is that dictionary. Now we have started entering data into the dictionary. So when we say that you want to write, where is my, yeah. So if you have a dictionary, so we say we have a dictionary D, and we want to enter a value in the dictionary. We want to enter another entry in the dictionary. How do we do that? We say that we have D, okay, key 4 equals value 4. Okay, 4. Or if they are all strings, rather in the first place, if they were strings, they should be written as like this. So if they are keys, whatever their type is, that does not, because dictionary would accept. So if they are not in the quotations, they will be considered as variables. Here they are in values, so we say that, okay. So this is how we enter a new entry to a dictionary, okay? So what do? We say that if salesperson, that salesperson not in sales record, okay? This is the if condition. It means that if the salesperson is not already in the dictionary, what do you say? We want to create a dictionary entry here, okay? Salesperson. So in that case, this now our dictionary would start looking like that. Sales record. Records would have now entry like this. Our first is what? First information is John. So it'll be like John, and there will be an empty list here. Okay. Now why list? Because John would have multiple entries for his sales. Okay, so we have created an empty record in it. But if not, this is only the first time when we will create a record for any salespersons. Like in the case, this is the first line. So we are creating John's entry in this sales record. Okay. Otherwise, what we are going to do, we are going to append this list now, if there were any. So we are going to append this value into this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy, and not this. Copy this here. Okay. So that will be list of further dictionaries. So product is going to be what? Laptop. Will be replaced with laptop, and sale amount would be replaced with 1200. Okay. And next time there would be, when there is another entry for John, it will be another dictionary with the product, and product would be fixed. Okay. But this would depend on the data coming from the file. Sale amount would be fixed, and data coming from, because here you see they are literals, they would go as is, but product would be coming from here, the file which we have loaded, the line which we are working on right now. All right. Any questions so far?
I'm a bit confused about the indentation, because I think all of them you are aligning with the parts, and then you got if, and then all of them is like that, and then the returned, when you come to, and I know I'm moving a bit fast, then you're moving up to the return, but it's aligning that with.
I think return is not aligned. Let me check.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, return is not. It should be aligned with
4,
the
right?
4. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay,
Yeah,
no, that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you for. So yeah, so because we will be returning once all the processing has been completed. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, next thing is what we want to create also from the products. We want to create a dictionary which we call product sales. Okay, and the structure is that we say that in the product sale, if there is a product, not a product already in the dictionary, we create the product entry, the key, and we initialize it with an empty, like so. Let me show you. So the first entry in the is going to be like that, is going to be a dictionary. Okay, and the first product is what? Laptop. Okay, and here we would have the information for all the laptops. Okay, and we would have entries like this. We would have the sale person and the sale amount. Okay, so I'm going to copy that to our here. So sale person is whom? In that case, John. All right. And the sale amount is what? 1200. All right. Any confusion? So the data, it'll be updated. We'll keep entering more and more information in these sales record and product sales. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I mean, I have done this part, but when I'm building this data structure, right, I'm using the product name itself, for example, laptop as the key, and the amount as the value. So it's reducing this. It's basically
Yeah, maybe
equilibrate
it
the pairs
reduces.
there.
Yeah, maybe it reduces, but then it can. It's
It's
all right,
working. I mean,
perfectly
I'm
all right.
getting
But then it can maybe, is my thinking, my way of thinking, that it can increase the computation or the programming you need to do.
it's working
Because
fine.
that way you would have always that salesperson as a key available, and you would be just referring to whatever the value is coming. That way. Otherwise, it
That's
should
right,
not
because
be a
it's by
problem.
the product.
Yeah, it's fine, perfectly all right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
No, I'm a bit confused with what you're writing in the notepad. Like, what do you mean by this? Do you mean it will automatically get created because of your formula, or?
Yeah, it'll be created. That's how it would be created, how it should look like. That's what I'm explaining. That would
Okay.
be created from that. Now, let's see. Now, once we have completed that, before just printing, what we want to do is we want to print sales record. Okay, we want to print what? We want to print product sales. Let's see. If everything is fine, it should run. It is that if main. Yeah, it is printing. So you see, the error could be because of return or something else. We'll see. But you see that now what we have created here, it looks like same.
We're pushing
So John,
okay,
product, laptop, sale amount, 1200, and we have another entry for John, and that was tablet and sale amount. He sold it for 750. So we have all the information regarding John. Once that information for the John is completed, we will have another information for Emma. Okay. I would request you to please mute your microphones because they'll become part of the recording. So this way we will create our structures. Now we understand these structures. So what we want to do is we want to process further. All right. So any questions or confusion? So here you see for the product sales, we have got laptop and all the entries from the file. Now we have sort of sorted the entries. Like now we have the first entry laptop, all the laptops, they are in its own dictionary key. All the entries are there. Okay. And then we have tablet data. it has got a separate list. And if we see, we would have all the data. Now we have data for phone and so on. Okay.
I don't get what you get. Maybe it's just
Maybe when we cover dictionaries and lists, that
yeah.
that clarifies everything. You are not bound. You can start looking into the next week's content, and everything is available. Yeah.
Is topic 6 relevant to this as well, or is it just
Very minor, but mainly topic week 5 that would cover everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now, very quickly, I'm just going to paste the structure for our, because now we at least we know, and we can start working on the second task as well. So what I'm going to do is I am going to paste the structures for our classes for task 2 as well. So here is that. So and we can remove this as well. So please, doesn't matter. So class car, we have got car ID, make, model, year, car size, and class renter. We have all this. We have now experience, or at least some knowledge from the lab we did tonight, how we enter these data, how we can even try finding the ID conflicts, and the data also goes into the list in that case. Here, one thing is that car rented is a list. We initialize as a list here, but when your renter rents more cars or even a single car, only the car ID which they are renting, that is just appended here. Okay. Yeah, of course. As I said, that this lab and the discussion, they are all the learning, the part of the learning. So I'm keeping them there, and they will be available for everyone. So now I don't think so that for task 2 there is much left apart from the search function. Okay, go and try completing the add functions. Okay, and display function, display renter, and even rent a car, update stock. You can do all these. We will be doing the search function next week, and your part 2 should be complete. Now let's quickly do that. Do what? What I'm going to do is here. Let me do the total sales of that. Fetch the code. Quickly, I am doing the total sales. So what the total sales is, that how each of these salespersons, what was the total sales? It means that what is the total sales for John, Emma, Liam, Olivia, and everyone. So we are going to quickly compute that. So total sales is what we start with the dictionary. Okay. Now for the salesperson and transaction in sales record. My question, what is a sales record? What type of data structure is that?
A dictionary.
A dictionary. So when we say that, we previously in the lists, when we were fetching what? Only one item. When we say sales record dot item, it will be giving us two values, one by one. The salesperson, it means that what? In the salesperson, it would be John, okay? And in the transactions, it'll be all the list or this value. Okay, we say it is transactions. So we name this transactions, all the transactions regarding the particular salesperson. So from the record, from the dictionary, we are getting 2 record at one time, or key or value. So this will be the key and this will be the value, because value itself is a list. So we want to go and further process that. So we say that total sales for that salesperson in that, because we know that what we are doing here, we are creating an entry in this dictionary. We say that right now the value is 0. Now we say that the transactions in transaction. So we pick one transaction at one time. Okay. And from the transaction, we say that the sale person and the sale amount is going to be updated here. Okay. And every time, because this would be only regarding the one sale person, so it'll be always adding to the sale amounts. The sale amount would keep adding from the dictionaries from the transaction. Okay. And eventually, when this total sales is returned, let me show you. If I print this, that is what? It should print the total if we are calling the function or not. Yeah, now you see John 4650, Emma 4, though the display function we haven't yet developed, but now we have the data at least. So you see John, the data for John is 4650. Here we have got 4650, Emma 4580, 4580. So that part has already been solved. You just need to print it properly. That's it. Any confusions or anything that is not clear?
No, that's great. Showed us a lot of, solved a lot of my problems. Thank you.
Yeah, so now the iterations and everything, the dictionaries, how to access, that has been provided to you. Now you need to just conceptualize that what further, how you're going to find high and highest salesperson and sales per product. Even the ideal values have been given to you. So yeah, there is no chance that you're going to write a wrong code. Okay, so now you have got this data. You will pass this data to the next function, and you want to find what? The highest person, highest salesperson with the highest sale. So, or even if there are multiple, you need to identify those. Okay, and same, you want to send the product sale data, and you want to find that what is the highest sale for the laptop, tablet, and who sold for these prices. Okay. And I think now most of the things should be clear from tonight. And this session, of course, was not possible last week, right? Because we had to cover different things like last week we covered what functions, and this week we covered classes and methods. All good then. Thank you very much. If we don't have any quick questions, so I'll be wrapping it up now. And of course, the recording is going to be available if you want to revisit or recheck. I hope that it should be helpful now.
No, thank you, Doctor.
All good then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And
Thank you so
have
much, Dr. Niraj.
have a
Thank
good
you.
night and lovely weekend. Would like to see you next week.
Good night.
Good night.